Hello, Durud and Shalom. We be live. Hi, Monkey.
Hello, Durut Shalom and Hola.
Hello, no, hola. I like that addition. I like that addition. That addition. Okay, well, look at this. Fleshy already gave us a super chat. Thank you so much, Fleshy. Already at the beginning of the show, saying Islamic Republic getting away with taking control of the strait. That's not what I'm seeing, actually, because I see a lot of ships going, through the Strait of Hormuz. Like I don't know, remember what portion of it, but a lot of it from the Omani path. Isn't that what you're saying, Fleshy? That's what I'm seeing. And also, at the end of the day, the best way to judge this is Brent crude oil prices, which let me see prices, which I think is still 73, still on 73.45. So we're still good. We're still good. That's the ultimate judge, right? That's the ultimate way to measure. And thank you for the super chat. How are you, Mikey? How are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm doing
Full of
great. Did a
energy?
little maintenance yesterday. It's very important.
Nice.
Maintain your stuff, especially your brain.
Yes. And you're also back.
Yes, yes, I am back in Puerto Rico. Yes, I did a little
Yep.
trip for the 250th anniversary of the country, but now I'm back. I'm back home.
That's fantastic. You can see the background change, right? Okay, great. Let's get started. So here we have President Trump issuing a warning to the Islamic Republic. So I just wanted us to review this and see what you guys think about it. I am I am going to pay attention to the chat to see what you guys' take on this is. Let me just play it first.
Look, we're going to win one way or the other. We're either going to make a deal or we're going to finish the job. Okay. And it won't be tough to finish the job. I'd rather make a deal because I don't want to affect 91 million people. We can knock down their bridges in 1 hour. We can knock out their energy supply, all of those big plants that they built, big, beautiful, modern plants. They had a lot of money. They don't have any money now. We haven't given them any money, but we can knock out their electricity and power generating plants. And I would say a small part of an afternoon, every plant will be gone. And they know that. Look, we're going to win one way or the other.
So this is something that we discussed yesterday with Ellie on the stream that I had with him. My impression, first of all, without telling you my impression, Monkey, what is your impression of what President Trump is saying? I don't want to poison the well or like basically change your perspective before I talk. What is your perception?
Well, he's talking specifically about taking out the power. Taking out the power means taking out a lot of the things that make it possible for them to jam signals. It takes out a lot of the things that make them possible for them to coordinate. They go down to just basic radios. If they're going to do an operation where they take those things out, I think it's very important. He's also talking about infrastructure. That means he's saying, look, you have a lot of power plants and a lot of equipment here that you can't maintain without money because you got to pay people to maintain that. They're not going to do it for free. I understand that they would starve every other resources to keep some basic stuff going, like they do in Cuba. But I've heard this talk before. I know he dropped 13,000 warheads on foreheads. I'm just hoping that starts again soon.
Yeah. Well, here's what I said yesterday. I want to see what your take is as well. First of all, there's two important things that I get from these clips. The one is President Trump is saying, like, guys, keep people complaining about the MOU, the negotiations, and he's like, you guys know. I think this is what President Trump's saying, that if we don't get what we want, we're just gonna blow them up, right? Like that is what we're gonna do, right? I'm not saying if he is or if he isn't, but his what he's suggesting is that you keep wondering about like, oh, the Islamic Republic is doing this, they're violating that. He's basically communicating that I have certain level of patience and we're going to try this, and if at the end of the day if we don't get everything we want, we're going to f them up. That's what we're going to do. Like we're going to try it the easy way, and if it doesn't work, we're just going to go back to the hard way. That's what he's communicating. Is that your impression?
Yes, I think that is the impression. The problem is people who know a little bit more about the IRGC, this impression makes them impatient because they know that the IRGC is not going to abide by the terms. So we're like, why don't we skip ahead to the part we know we're going to get to? You understand? So that this is a
Mhm.
perspective matter because we have, like you rightly call it, curse of knowledge. We know they're not going to reach that deal. I believe somewhere, he knows that they're probably not going to reach the deal. I think this is a play for time. This happened in Ukraine. We tried to get Russia to sit down with, Ukraine and hash out some kind of deal, but Russia wouldn't give some stuff up. And the way it worked out, he said, "All right, you guys want to keep warring? Okay, we know which side we're going to back." And now Ukraine is doing great. We're giving them a lot of money and they're giving us a lot of tech, which is fantastic.
Right. So that was my first point. The first point is the second point that I want to check with you is that I also get the impression that President Trump, the reason why, one of the reasons, there are three main reasons why he's giving the negotiations a chance, right? One is the elections, the midterm. Two is the missile interceptors and other munitions. Or actually, four. Three then is the United States military needs rest. Okay, you can't just expect these people to just keep fighting. Four, which he's kind of talking about a bit here, is he needs to give this a chance because he doesn't want to destroy infrastructure. He genuinely doesn't want to destroy the infrastructure in Iran. So he has, even if it doesn't work, he has to give it a chance to try different ways before he goes. Because if they go to the military operations again, it's actually very likely that they have to basically destroy some of the infrastructure, and he's trying to avoid doing that. Is that your sense?
Look, I'll speak on the midterms part of this. I think this what the play is for the midterms here, not necessarily that we're going to keep things the way they are past the midterm. I don't think that can be achieved. I don't think we can stay in this kind of situation like into the midterms. I think there will be kinetic actions before the midterm. I think what this shows is a willingness to pursue peace beyond the point at which patience is plausible and you're just exhausted with the patience because these are not reasonable people. I think what we're walking into is a situation where the government isn't a real government. You can't deal with these people who is even in charge. You're trying to get some people in charge, but it's really not working too well because they're not willing to cede on some seed ground on some of these issues. So you got to go back to kinetic actions. I think if this is done, it has to be done within the next 2 months, right? You have to be done with the whole, finish bombing and go back to some kind of, ceasefire by, I would say, September. So you have October, well, maybe before September, like at the beginning of September. So you have September and October to demonstrate stability. And then when November comes, everything is stable, at least in the price realm. But, I think there will be kinetic actions before the midterms.
Interesting. We got two super chats. Fleshy Interloper saying, I think the Islamic Republic getting cocky again, calling President Trump's bluff. What do you think about this, Monkey, about what Fleshy is saying?
I think they do like to get cocky with other people's lives because the Islamic Republic giving orders to these people, they're not going to die. They're going to send their soldiers to die, right? So getting cocky, yeah, sure. I mean, if you can convince your people that they're life lovers, if they die for a useless endeavor, right? Yeah, they're getting cocky, but how much longer can they do that? I mean, every time they try, they get bombed. Every time they open a tunnel into let out some drones, that tunnel gets closed, and a lot of those that place gets hit. So every time they do something, they're just revealing more info about what and where their systems are and what they can do.
By the way, I actually got some bad news. I have some footage of Ali Khamenei's. No, I'll tell you next. Tom, thank you so much for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Thank you. Guys, we're already getting so much support at the beginning of the show. You guys are amazing. But I do have some bad news, guys. I'm sorry. It seemed like we were wrong about the funeral. A lot of people did actually show up based on new footage that we have. And it seems like the new analysis is that 60 million showed up. Look at this. Here's the new footage.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh.
Oh my God. Okay.
You know, I've
You
seen
know what?
people do the wave at a stadium, but never like this. This is something else. This is wow. I'm very impressed here. This is a great video.
Yeah.
Actually.
This changes everything. We have to reevaluate the way we analyze what's happening in Iran. This is it's pretty impressive, to be honest. I didn't know
sea of Durka.
Yeah. Literally, yes. That's pretty cool. Well, here's the actual footage from today, because they are look at this. Seeing
Tsunami of Durka.
Yeah, no. So yeah, so this is the actual footage from today's the funeral, like the continuation of the funeral, because it's on multiple days. So look at this. This is so embarrassing. I think this is from the top of the Shahiyat tower in the Shahiyat Square, I think. People bring. Look at this footage. Let me play.
That's
this.
the really I'd say
Yeah.
beautiful building that's at the
Yes.
Tehran Square. It's I think it's older than the regime. They wouldn't be able to build something like that.
Yeah, no, this was built by the Shah. And I think based on the shape of the window, yes, this is they call it, the regime calls it Azadi Square, but the original name is Shahiyat. So I think it's from the window on top here, from the window here. Somebody's recording down.
That's a beautiful building.
Yeah, it is. The Shah built it. So now look at how many people showed up. Look at it.
Is that like 3,000 tops?
That is embarrassing, isn't it? That is really
I
bad.
think-
That's worse than I
I don't
thought.
even think 3,000. That might be like 2. Like I don't.
That's
it's low. That's very low.
600. Yeah, that is very low.
I'm being very generous. Like I'm trying to be extremely generous. Let's say the people when you're looking at the ones that are crowded together closer to the base. I like kind of waited until it's near the base. Okay, you count those all together. Maybe you could get to 1,000. I don't think it reaches 2,000.
Yeah. Wow. This is really bad. This is really, really bad. This is like, I knew it's not going to be 20 million, but honestly, I didn't expect it to be even me, I didn't expect it at all for it to be this low. This is
I feel
so
like I'm
much
being
lower.
generous. I feel like I'm exaggerating, but the exaggeration is still embarrassing. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. Here, let me show you another angle. So if you look over here, you would think that the one area that would be the most crowded would be around the body of Ali Khamenei, right? Right?
This guy didn't get the load the Rahula guy.
Yeah,
Rahula.
look, this is the truck with Ali Khamenei's body in there. So you would think that yeah, everywhere is not crowded, but at least the area where you go and touch the truck or whatever, that would be the most crowded area. So look at this. Like it's not like, but it's not like a crowded, like a zombie like attack on the truck. Like it doesn't exist.
This is pathetic. This is pathetic. Like they can't even get. So here's the thing. Back when Rahula died, it was crazy. Like things were crazy.
Like, just say Khomeini. Just say Khomeini.
How many? Oh, how many? When that hoe died, it was crazy.
That hoe, yes. Oh my god, yeah. And here's proof that these low numbers are low, even though they brought people from other countries. So look at these. These are people. They have the flag of Afghanistan to show that they're from Afghanistan. Look at this.
You can see this.
Look, they are from Afghanistan.
Sea of resistance. Not doing a good job here.
Look. These are Shias from Afghanistan.
Are they screaming Haydar?
Yes, because they're Shia. This ended up being really bad.
So they're getting ready for a Haydar hoedown? Yeah, no, I thought it was a very small delegation. Is this an official delegation, or is this just everybody from Afghanistan that went? Because I don't think you're going to be able to transport that many people.
No, this is just one example of people from Afghanistan and other countries showing up there.
This is like the party crashers from the Houthis. They're just like showing up like, yeah, I'm here.
Something like that. Wait, I have some other videos. So this is another angle of the crowds waiting for the body of Khamenei to show up here. And this is the amount of crowd that showed. This was supposed to be the millions of people that were supposed to show up. Look at that. Wow. And also, by the way, a lot of the places that the body was supposed to show up, it didn't show up because the crowd was so small that the people ended up that they ended up changing their routes. So for example, they were supposed to go like 4 kilometers, right? But they ended up reducing it to like less than 1 kilometer because the crowd was so small that they didn't want to spread it out too thin. So a lot of the people who were waiting in those other 3 kilometers, they didn't get told that the body is not going to come here. So they were just sitting there and nothing happened and nobody came and told them to move, right? So they, like, a lot of these people came from far away cities and nobody told them, like they basically blocked out these couple of days to come see the body of Ali Khamenei. And the regime didn't even tell them that, yep, we're basically only going to go at that section and your section is not going to get. Nobody came out with a loudspeaker or anything like, guys, move to that other place. And here, like, I'm not making this up because they're complaining about it. Look at these people. Who like the regime has no value for us. Like they're basically treating us like worthless. They didn't come and tell us that the body is not going to come to this area. So like this guy saying, like, if you just told us that it was in a different place, we would just gone to that place.
متاسفانه الان مردم ساعت 9:15 صبح مردم دارن برمیگردن که انبوه مردم.
So like people were waiting here thinking that it's going to be here, but unfortunately they're going back because they realize that it's not the body is not going to be here.
داره از سمت امام حسین برمیگردن.
they're upset because they're saying, why did nobody tell us? But yeah, they keep saying the same thing. But here's the end is very interesting.
حق مردم این نحوه مدیریت در حد بله در حق رهبر
مردم واقعا مظلومیتش اینجا هم ثابت شد که حتی مردم
No, here I think it's this one. One of them says something at the very end. I don't know if it's here. Oh, here. Everybody is this is another video. People complaining that why did nobody tell us that the body is not going to come here? This person and God curse you. Why didn't you tell us? Right? Like you spent all this money for this funeral, but now it went to waste. Look at this. This guy. So he's saying مردم توی مذاکرات نامحرم بودن، توی این تشییع هم نامحرمن. So he's saying the government is treating us like others, like treating us like not one of them for the negotiations. He's like, just like you basically were not transparent and you didn't talk to us with the negotiations, you also basically didn't talk to us regarding the funeral. Like basically this person is saying the regime, these are, by the way, guys, these are the pro-regime people. And they're saying that not only you didn't care about what we think when it comes to the negotiations, you also don't care about us now when it comes to the funeral. That's what he's saying. You see? And this
is bad logistics.
Yeah.
This is terrible logistics.
These are the last remaining supporters of the regime, and you see how they're losing even the last 1% that they have. They're losing even that.
Well, you predicted this. You predicted that the funeral will cause more division. You
Right.
absolutely said this would happen. I mean, if they weren't stupid, they'd have quadrupled the bus routes. They would be free, and these people would just be bussed and say, hey, if the funeral's moving, get on the bus. We're taking you over there. We don't want you to wait here in vain. Get in the bus. We're going to transport you there. We love you. Get in here. We're going to take you over to the body. Sorry to make you wait. There's been some changes, security, whatever excuse you want to use. Get on over here. We love you. Get in. They didn't do that. They just left them there waiting. They're stupid. These people are stupid. Because like over here, we do that for concerts. Like here in Puerto Rico, when there's a big concert, you triple the bus routes, you double the train routes, and you make sure everybody can get there without having to even crowd the buses. Like you just know there's gonna be buses, there's gonna be trains. A lot of people don't like to take their personal cars to big events, and they use public transportations and leave their cars at the bus stations and the train stations. Because they're pretty secure as police. They're usually next to a police station. Like we have the habit of putting the train station or the bus station next to a police station so they can watch the property. So that's protected. So that's how we do it. Like that's what I would have done. Well, I wouldn't have done it because I don't like these people. But if they were smart and they knew how to manage resources, they would have done that. But if they were smart and knew how to manage resources, they wouldn't be Islamo-commies.
Right. So here, look at, oh wait, we got 3 super chats. Wow, you guys, thank you guys. Like we're almost already at our goal at the beginning of the show. Sayed, thank you so much for the super chat saying that looks like World War Z. Oh, this is what Sayed was referring to here. This one. Let's watch this again. This is what they were hoping for. Oh my God. Look at this. Wow.
Tsunami of people.
No, man. Yeah, it does look like World War Z. You're right, say it. That's a good one.
It'd suck to be the guy at the bottom of that.
Ew, with all the sweat, because it's hot also. And all that sweat is like going down, like, yeah, you're right. Like imagine all those people there sweating. And it's dripping all the way down in the middle. There must be like a whole, like a lake in the middle over there. Yeah.
What is it gonna smell like? It's like I understand it's onions because of the armpits, feet, and rose water. If I'm not mistaken, am I right?
Yes, ew. Yes, yes. Oh my god. We got JJ Auto saying YouTube normally doesn't allow me to buy super chats. Well, oh wow, we allowed it now. So that's great progress. It's you have to be careful with the words that you use. It's very sensitive when it comes to super chats. If it's even slightly like I don't know problematic or non PC, you have to like basically instead of spelling it out, you could put spaces in between, or or use like alternative words because if it's the
I
super chats
usually
are
just misspell, but that makes me look a little monkey-like. So you could try that, but there
yes,
it has its downside.
yes, exactly. And thank you, by the way, for even trying and for being successful. Thank you for the support. And then Fleshy Interloper with the super chat saying, "Smiley, happy Durkas. The day is getting better." Yes, I always like Durka tears. Durka tears. So, given that this is the state of the funeral, by the way, Fleshy, let's see how CNN is reporting on it. Like, because their own regime supporters are not happy. Let me see what CNN is saying about the funeral.
This is truly a historic moment that we're witnessing here in Tehran as scores of people have come out to commemorate Iran's late supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who of course was killed in the U.S.-Israeli airstrike along with several family members at the beginning of the U.S. and Israel's war against Iran. And as you can see on the ground here, there is a lot of sorrow, but there is also a lot of anger. The chants of death to America, we're hearing right now, and death to Israel have been going on almost non-stop, with people vowing revenge against the United States.
ما برای انتقام خونخواهی رهبرمون اومدیم و لحظه‌ای از این هدف دست بر نمی‌داریم تا آخر ایستاده‌ایم تا انتقام قاتل رهبرمون رو بگیریم.
Of course, we always have to point out that not everybody is mourning today. Not everybody is out here. There are people who are deeply opposed to the rule of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. But as you can see here, right now, the government has galvanized its supporters. They have come out here en masse. And the message that they're sending, of course, is also directed at the United States. That if negotiations fail, Iran is ready for another fight. Now, these processions are going to go on for another several days and then culminate when the supreme leader is laid to rest in the city of Mashhad in eastern Iran. From CNN, Tehran.
It's interesting because they zoom into the highest density areas of the crowd, and they don't show you that they squeeze the population and most of the streets are empty. The traffic is coming to it is empty because everyone's an assessment right now. It shows like even Reuters is basically admitting that it's not millions, it's just thousands. But CNN is like making it seem like, yeah, okay, so the regime has some opposition, but there's also many people who support the regime, the way that they're talking about it. But the way that we calculated all of this, it shows that the regime has less than 1% support. But you see how the CNN is spinning it as if they have a lot of support?
Okay, the thing is, this is where I get into the territory. You're either editorially controlled by the IRGC while you're over there. Like, hey, when this report's will come out, you better use the angles with a lot of people, or you're staying here for a very long time. That's one thing that could be happening. Now, the other thing that could be happening is that they are helping the propaganda that this is bigger than it seems, which would be material support, right? So that's the only two options. Like I could steelman it and say, look, these guys, as long as they're there, they're better give like a view that things look good, because if they don't like how this looks on TV, they might, say, hey, you broke a local crime, blah, 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 yada, 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 and have a reason to like keep them, right? Which, Ghalibaf might let them go, but it could be like a month or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It could be like a really bad time. They could have a really bad time if they edit this wrong. That's my steel man. The other side of this is just looking at it, it looks like material support because we've seen the reality on the ground, and I'm sure they have had the chance to see the same thing. So this is, you have to be lying to stay alive, or you're lying because you're doing material support. Either way, you're lying, though.
Yeah, and I don't know you know what? If you're being honest, you would show aerial footage. That's what you would show. aerial footage rather
They
than zooming.
they might not have
into-
permission to fly a drone like that. They might not have that kind of permission
Well,
in Iran.
Well, you know who does? Whoever recorded this. Okay, because if you look at it, it's not millions, it's thousands. Because if it was millions, there wouldn't be these empty spaces in the middle, right? You see that? If it's millions, if you have 20 million people, if you have 2 million people,
If you have
everybody would be
20,000.
everybody would be shoulder to shoulder if it was millions. This is not millions. This is thousands. But anyways, look at this video. You know what the sign is? You see this? You know what
That's
this
the
is?
reward.
Reward for what?
Reward for doing something we don't approve of. YouTube, they want to do
Right.
something bad to the president. We don't approve of this, but they want to do something bad, and they're offering a reward.
Look at this. This was a big ass banner during the funeral. They're offering $100 million for Trump's $100 million Trump bounty banner in Qom City. Look at this. Like, this is who
disgusting.
we're negotiating with. Yeah, $100 million, guys. This is going to tempt a lot of people. Like, I don't know if are you guys worried about the security of President Trump? Because I am worried about this is serious. Like, don't underestimate this. Like, don't say like, oh, these people can't do anything. With that sort of money, you could. That's like they can afford that. This is nothing compared to, like they can't like enough oil and gas money. You could afford that, right? I'm not saying they have that, but given that some people think that they are going to be afford that, it's going to motivate. Like, even if you get like 1% of this, that's a lot of money. And there are people, even if the Islamic Republic is, not good at what they do, there are people in the West who are good at this, right? And if there is a lot of money available for doing something like this, this is a huge concern for President Trump's security. Like, you guys, Americans, I don't care if you're pro President Trump or anti President Trump. This is a threat against your president. This is a serious threat. Even if you're anti President Trump, this should anger you, and this should concern you. This is a huge security. Look at this. Anyway, we don't need to listen to the audio. But I don't know. Monkey, does this concern you?
Yes, I think it's I mean, you can't do this if you're not doing it from the state. The state has to know what's going on here. The state has to approve this. They're not just doing this willy-nilly because they feel like it. Oh my God, no, this is organic. This is a people. No. They know what they're doing. We have a comment here from the chat I'd like to highlight. CNN is a communist news network. You know what? I may be right.
So we have another comment here. By the way, Mikey, do you know how to star comments? Do you know how to star them to save them for later?
I yes, but I just wanted to highlight it.
No,
Next
I'm not
time I'll
talking
star
about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know how.
do that? Yeah. Okay. So we have somebody is asking, what does it say on the right? I think it's talking about the yellow text over here, right? Do you know what it says, Mikey? Do you want me to read that to you? It says
I can't quite make it out.
Okay. It says the end of Epstein class. The end of Epstein class.
They don't even understand what that means. They don't know.
They think.
I doubt the common people over there, like the Durkas, no. Oh my God, this is so terrible.
The state TV of the Islamic Republic has been talking about Epstein nonstop.
But how do they like? Oh, but we do that all the time. This is our religion. How do they spread that?
No. They in their mind, if you marry the child, is okay.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, right. They made that little distinction there. Okay. Yes. This is yeah, sure. There's a contract here with a minor, you see?
Yes.
The marriage contract's all legal.
In their mind, it's not a minor. It's
well, that means that a child could also sign a contract for a job, get a house, get a car. I mean, if they can sign contracts, right?
Right. right? Well, yeah. I mean, for they don't call it a child, but then okay, so a lot of those things. The problem is that she's a woman, though. But anyways, I'm not going to get into that.
Oh, they wouldn't be able to get a car or house anyway, right?
Well, I mean, they can, but a lot of it is with the permission of their parents and the permission of their husband, right? So
This is so
does
bad.
you have, yeah,
Islam is terrible.
it is terrible. Yeah, so basically, you are Islamically allowed to marry a 9-year-old and have sex with her, Islamically, as long as you marry her and you have the permission of the parents. So this is what's required. So let me see how Fox is covering this.
Look, I saw the pictures. There were a lot of people in the streets, no doubt about that. The Iranian regime, the IRGC, their terror organization, still has the ability to convince people they better get out of their house and go support this.
I think that's not a lot of people. That is not a lot of people. That is like, you have to understand, that is like less than 1% of the country. Less than 1% will be thousands of people, but that is not millions.
And go support this dead leader that the United States and Israel took out. But I was also mindful that they picked July 4th. It was an intentional date to start the funeral. Will go on for now 4 or 5 more days. They picked that date because they wanted to demonstrate that they still resist the things that we love and cherish here in the United States of America. And so there remains work to do to keep America safe from this threat to Israel, this threat to our Gulf Arab allies. And then we shouldn't forget, too, those planes flying over the mall were something that the Iranians took on board. The current leader of Iran could not show his face at that event. He didn't show up because he was afraid that somehow between the United States and Israel, we would do something that would change their leadership once again. A clear juxtaposition of these two celebrations, so different. One morning, the dead leader who killed tens of thousands of his own people.
I want to say something here. It said that they picked that day because of us. Like they picked the 4th of July because of us. I said that. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't agree with him. I don't think they picked a date. I think the Americans picked a date.
Oh, that would be okay. Yeah. No, you do it on July 4th. You do it on July 4th.
Yeah, we're busy, so you guys could have it at the time that we're busy as well, right? So because we have other things to do, so do it at the same time. Because President Trump did say that they gave them permission for the funeral, but I also think they picked a date.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we picked the date. I don't think they picked the date. That makes more sense to me. Like, look, Alibaba, if you want some time, here's the time we'll give you. I see a comment in the chat I want to highlight.
Yeah.
Stuart Manfield says, I was in a 2-mile-long line to see Trump in 2019, ended up outside about 5,000 people. So like they're trying to highlight like these numbers that they're throwing out there. It's not 20 million. It's not even 20,000. Like this is, I have this feeling too. When I look at these crowds, like it's in the thousands and it's not in the tens of thousands. Like it's just in the thousands. And I'm feeling generous when I say that. Like, you understand what, like, I'm trying to like give even the most generous interpretation that we can have of anything we see is still an insult, especially compared to the numbers they're trying to put out there. Like this isn't making sense. It doesn't make logical sense. It doesn't make mathematical sense. It's just ridiculous. I think they're greatly not overestimating and overstating the counter popularity that is here. I think maybe there was some cope inside them that thought that they were going to get, big crowds regardless, because I think they underestimate how unpopular they are. You know how sometimes they get in an echo chamber and they think, no, the people kind of love us. There's some people that don't like us, but we're really, really great. We're awesome, and people love us. And when they go out and look at the numbers, it's just dreadful. And the chat seems to agree. Like, let me see. We have a comment here. Communists always try to erase your history and tell you your history is bad so they can replace it with their ideology. I think this comment speaks well to that beautiful tower that the Shah built, right? The Shah, they built a beautiful tower and they tried to change the name and claim it. I mean, that speaks to what these people are doing. And these Islamic commies are terrible at logistics and they're terrible at creating, so they like to steal.
Interesting, because it's the next topics there that we have is about communists. But I wanted to highlight this beautiful Persian comment that I got from somebody, from Hadi. Merci Hadi, damet gam. He says, Armin, ممنون که زبان انگلیسی رو برای انقلاب ملی شیر و خورشید پوشش میدی و آگاه میکنی آنها را. من منتقد تو هم هستم. So he's saying, like, he ends it like, I'm somebody who criticizes you, but here he wanted to say that I wanted to thank you for explaining our Lion and Sun revolution to people in English and informing other people regarding our revolution. So even though Hadi is like a critic of mine, of some of my views, he's thanking me for covering what's happening in Iran in English. So I just
the body of work, like you're here 7 days a week for this, like you're in it from the toes up, like you're all in. So it's hard to argue your motivations here. Like you may not agree with some of the thoughts, but the motivation is there.
Yeah. Okay, let's play the here. This is, now that we're going to go to communism. Let me actually show you how we could save children from communism. Now that we're talking about that, let me actually change the banner to the topic here. Here, let me see, because the next two videos is about that. I want to see your opinion on this. There's two other.
The American dream belongs to every child, and today we are equipping the next generation with the right to claim their rightful share of it. Through Trump accounts, our president is creating an ownership economy where all citizens become shareholders. 38% of American families do not have any exposure to our great equity markets, but with Trump accounts, over time, we can get that number to 0. Already, 6 million American children have signed up. 86% of them with families earning less than $200,000. U.S. Treasury, 1.4 million of those accounts will receive $1,000 from the U.S. Treasury to seed the accounts. The American dream belongs.
What do you think about this plan? I think this is a good way to make children capitalists from the beginning.
This is a good way to do it in a way where you start when they're not even young enough to understand money, but as they grow and they start understanding math, you can use it. When they start understanding like more complex math, you can use it to explain interest. And first you explain savings, then you explain interest and investing and this and finance. And the more they grow, the more it can be used as a tool, not only for having a financial nest egg, a little bit of stability in your financial future, but also just as a learning tool. So you understand your it's really hard to hate property rights when you have a nest egg. So no, wait a minute, that's mine. That's my property. I don't want anybody else to have it. But we're not sharing it.
Isn't this a great way to make children not turn into communism if they when they have capital?
Well, yes, capital, but capital is like property, basically, right? It's your capital. Yeah. It's your property.
Yeah, that's obviously, but I'm just saying, giving kids capital makes them capitalists. This is a great idea. This is a type of government involvement that I support.
I think that there's not enough done to explain that capitalism is just propertyism, like it's yours. You have your capital, you can trade it, you can exchange it, but it's like your capital, it's yours. If it's not yours, if it's the state's, if it's shared, it's not even capital, right? Yeah, am I oversimplifying?
Yeah, I think people know. I mean, I didn't know people don't know what capital is, but beyond.
Oh
what
my
capital
God,
is-
you underestimate. Okay, you have the curse of knowledge. You don't know how ignorant people are
Okay,
on what
yeah, I
even the
did-
word
well,
means.
Well, thank you for explaining that. But now that we defined it and people know what capital is, I'm glad that we're giving kids capital, because now kids that have capital, they will appreciate the value of capital, and this is how you create capitalists, future capitalists.
No, absolutely. I was just explaining how. I agree completely.
Okay, look at this. Here's also a comment. This is okay. Make every child a capitalist program. Loving this. Here.
Mr. President, I want to congratulate you on your historic leadership. The document hanging on that wall just turned 250 years old, as did the nation that it created. And the bell that you just rang on the Resolute desk, I believe, heralds in that the next 250 years will be even greater than the first 250.
You mean the bell that I'm not giving back?
I
am not giving.
I think everyone knew you were going to keep the bell. And on behalf of all Americans, thank you for getting rid of that ridiculous red card. This is his interest. It was spectacular. There was a reason the FIFA trophy sat here for as long as it did. Mr. President, this program, a second ago, Brad made reference to 1935 and Social Security. Trump accounts are in many ways Donald Trump's New Deal. But instead of having government taking care of everyone, Trump accounts are about making every child and every American a capitalist. Every one of our kids is now going to be an owner of the biggest producers in our country. Kids, you guys there, each of you are getting an account. These folks here gave you $250. That's a lot of money that you have right now. And you know what? With that $250, you've purchased a little bit of a bunch of big companies. You know McDonald's? You now own a little bit of McDonald's. When you go to McDonald's, you can look around and say, I own this place. If you get on an airplane and fly, you look at a Boeing airplane, you now own a little bit of Boeing. Can you believe it? You're an owner of Boeing? That is transformational. That changes the way every child looks at the world, and the ability to accumulate life-transforming savings, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars for the kids of single moms. That is powerful. And Mr. President, in particular, I want to thank you for your unequivocal commitment that this administration, your administration, is going to auto-enroll every child in America. All 70 million children will have accounts open for them, accounts that can then receive gifts from people like Michael and Susan and Brad. Accounts that, let me say to every parent at home, please right now go to trumpaccounts.gov. Go to trumpaccounts.gov, sign your kids up. To every employer, if you're not contributing to the accounts of the employees of your kids, do so now. Match their contribution, double their contribution. And to philanthropists, go adopt a state. Go adopt your city. Go adopt a school. Go say, the kids in my community, the kindergarten class here, we're going to help them get started. This is a moment, I believe, transformational to make sure the next 250 is even better than the first. Thank you, Mr. President.
This is such a great. Mike, you're angry again accidentally. You need to control your.
No,
your
okay.
anger.
The thing is, I'm wondering if it reaches to 21, right? Because if it reaches to 21, I may be in luck. Oh, damn it, it's 18. Missed the cutoff. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We can have more monkeys.
This is such a great idea. I think it's even better. It might even be a better idea than UBI or negative tax, because then instead of just taxing companies and then giving to people who are left behind, what you're doing is that you're making them feel like they own a share of the success of America. Like you're not saying like, oh my God, these companies are getting bigger and bigger and I'm being left behind. Now you own a part of it and you want them to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it
You
lets you
want them
trade
to
in the
be-
stock, basically. Not trade, but it lets you understand capital gains. It lets you understand the stock. Like it goes into teaching a lot. And yeah, and it would give you a personal interest. Like the UK would never do this. No one in Europe would ever do this because they're pushing towards a more socialist, more top-down control type of situation over there. But here, getting the people invested and the youth invested into this type of knowledge and literal savings is great because they would be saving this money for a later time and understanding how savings work, how stocks work, how capital is invested and saved. I think it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Honestly, this is one of the best things I've seen. It's really good. It's a really good idea. Let me see.
I think it also teaches the parents. There's a lot of parents that don't understand this stuff. They're too busy to understand this stuff. You're paycheck to paycheck.
Wait, we got a super chat from Push Up saying, hate to say it. Do you want to read this? You could respond to this.
Hate to say it, but Trump's need to reestablish credibility. I think that cred means credibility. It depends on with who. Like with some people, he has credibility. The people that he doesn't have credibility with are people either who never liked him. Like those are kind of impossible. So it would have to be someone that he lost credibility with. And we're going to look at who he might have lost credibility with. It might be some people that just want him to like bomb right now. And I understand that feeling because I have it. I want to put warheads on foreheads. We all know it. But I try to give him the grace and understanding that there may be things happening in the background that I don't know. It's okay to push back. It's okay to express your desire to make something happen, even if in the future it would all make sense. But if that's the credibility you're talking about, I understand. I feel your pain. But it's everything's going to be okay. That's all I can tell you.
Right. Wait, I'm gonna. There's some updates for President Trump and Turkey. But before that, I want to keep this, on this topic before we go there, because that's a very important development that we're seeing right now. But let me just do a few more of these, war on communism that is happening before we go to Turkey, because this is important, right? So here. Let's see what this one's. By the way, I don't like this guy, Mario Nafal, but I do use some of the videos he shares.
And so,
let me see.
And so hot and so great and such a great friend of, I don't say conservative, I say of common sense. He's not conservative or liberal or, as they say now, progressive. Liberal became so tarnished, but now it's communist. They say social democrats. No, social democrat is a communist. All right, just so you know. There's no if you look at the people that are running, it's crazy what they're doing. But we'll never let that happen to this country. It can't happen to the country. You can't. There's no appetite for it, especially since we've literally now. You're going to see numbers coming out over the next 6 months. I think that nobody will have ever seen before. But she's a fantastic person, and she's a woman that's respected by everybody, and she's got real talent. Nicki Minaj. Nicki, stand up, please. And so hot and so great and such.
Okay. Do you want to comment on that? Because I want to go after this. I want to go to the Turkey situation.
Okay, so I do think that the Democratic Socialists are just communists in disguise. I think there was a big meeting in Brazil about it, and all South America switched from saying communism to saying socialism. I think that has been, going on around the world. These people pretend that they're socialists. Socialist is just a step on the way to communism. And I think it's good on Nicki Minaj for realizing that freedom is important, that she does like to have her capital. Like a lot of people will be kind of like, with a little bit of Puritan about Nicki Minaj. I think it's great. I think it shows a big tent party. Like we welcome all kinds of people. Anyone is welcome to change their mind. And Armin himself has been able to change the mind of people that are maybe into, a communist ideology, into, a great respect for Islam, and see some of the flaws in these systems. So I applaud him for pointing out that socialism is just communism, and for having that kind of big tent that's not gonna, be too puritanical about the people that come and join us, because we're gonna need every vote. And the kind of people that Nikki can appeal to is people we need. Like a lot of our Black and Latino communities are literally being disenfranchised by moving all these immigrants, illegal immigrants, into our communities and saying you don't need an ID to vote. We are getting disenfranchised, and it's because a lot of Black and Latinos decided to turn to Trump. And people like Nikki, they help us a lot. They help us get the message out there. They help us see, look, this guy is not what they claim he is. He never was.
That was a good explanation. Okay, let's go to this thing that I've been waiting to talk about, because we yesterday when I talked about it at Ali's show, people had disagreements over this, right? So we might also have disagreements over this right now, in the chat. So this is something, it's harder to defend when it comes to President Trump's decision with regards to how close he's getting to Turkey, and it's not just words. It's also about, actually selling F-35s to Turkey. So the only way that this could come out being okay, in my opinion, is that if the sale doesn't go through and Congress doesn't approve it, and all of this was a show. But if the F-35s, if President Trump does actually sell F-35s to Turkey, I don't think there is any way to justify this. Saying the F-35s are not that good, saying it doesn't matter because they don't have to use it. I think that is all excuses for a bad decision. I think this is a huge challenge to Israel's air superiority in the Middle East. And it's also a really bad idea to give, and this is something that Monkey pointed out that I learned from Monkey, that to also pay attention to. Giving F-35s to Turkey that is close to Russia is also a huge giving away of United States state secrets and military superiority to the enemies of United States. So this is a bad idea, in my opinion, that President Trump is doing this. But let's actually listen to some of these videos and see what you guys think. Like, let us know in the chat, how many of you think that this is a bad idea, that President Trump is getting so close to Turkey and also maybe selling them F-35s? But let me play this while I look at the chat and see what you guys say about this.
And they know the problems with Iran. But they've been very instrumental, along with a couple of other countries, of helping. They could have gotten into the fight. I hear some people saying about their relationship with Israel. They could have gotten into the fight. They're a very powerful military nation. They didn't do that. Maybe they didn't do that because of me, but they could have gotten into the fight on the other side.
So President Trump is praising Turkey for not waging war against Israel. I don't think that deserves praising. They can't. The reason why they haven't done it is because they can't. They're militarily inferior to Israel, and that would devastate them. They have clearly demonstrated that they want to. Also, they have technically, because they supported Hamas. They supported October 7th. They funded Hamas. So October 7th was partly Turkey's attack on Israel. So they have attacked Israel.
Maybe they didn't do that because of me, but they could have gotten into the fight on the other side.
Look, this is just ridiculous. Like, oh, you didn't smack me when something that has nothing to do with you, so you must be a good person, right? You didn't slap me. You talked a lot of shit, but you didn't actually slap me, so you're a good person? What are you talking about? This doesn't make sense to me. This is infuriating. Like, we do know for a fact that he hired terrible people on his first term, right? Terrible, terrible people. I hate Mike Pence. There's a lot of people that just straight up betrayed him. Like, his first administration was just full of betrayal because you picked the wrong people, right? Like, people think MAGA means I love Trump. No, MAGA means America first. And the hardest and the most poignant critiques of Trump come from MAGA. They don't come from the left. The hardest hitting critiques of Trump come from MAGA. because we know exactly what we're talking about. Giving these jets over to, you know what? We're going there. Giving these jets to Turkey is fucking stupid. This is retarded. We know Turkey plays footsie with Russia. We know it. You know what? They can't, you know why they don't attack Israel? Because they don't know how much of our stuff is there. It would be kind of like an attack on us. That's why they don't do it. Also, Israel could like probably spank them pretty good, but they know attacking them is like attacking us. So this hiring of a terrible person to later fire them lets this person into your files. It lets this person into your secrets. No, I don't want to give them any fucking jets. I don't want to give them to any other nation. Maybe Israel, nobody else. Nobody else. Maybe Japan. Japan and Israel, I would say, you know what? Maybe you can have a jet. Like maybe we could work with you, right? Because you do have to deal with Iran, you do have to deal with the IRGC, better said. You do have to deal with the PLA and the CCP Japan. So maybe them I could work with. But Turkey? This is ridiculous. This is stupid. This is the same as hiring Mike Pence.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, he's like, oh, they didn't attack Israel. It's kind of like, imagine if somebody attacks your wife and beats up your wife, and this other person gave him money for doing so, but they didn't participate, and they also stood by and clapped for it. And then you come and praise the person like he could have joined in on beating up my wife, but he didn't. And I'm gonna like that. That's the praise that the Turkey is getting here. Even
so
though
Turkey like money, material support. This is like basically material support to Hamas.
Yeah, they provided material support, and they also are publicly saying that they want to wipe out Israel one day. And
legitimacy and okay, so they're giving material support. They're trying to give these people legitimacy, and they're also basically giving them this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Like this doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's stupid. I don't know who guided him. Who is there with him on this trip? Like, how is he here? Did those people come to America, or is he over there? These people came to America?
That's a good question. Where is this? I don't know. Let me see. I think they came. Well, the decoration looks like not American. I don't know where this is. Anybody knows in the chat where this is? Put this in Turkey.
Some people are saying NATO.
No, NATO is not a place. Where is this?
They might have some facilities in New York.
Oh, wait, this is the NATO meeting. Yeah, this is the NATO meeting that President Trump went to. Yes, this will. Why do I forget? We talked about it yesterday. This was a big deal. The NATO summit. The NATO summit is in Turkey. Yes, okay. The NATO summit. Yes. Oh my God, I'm so my memory. Yes, yesterday we were talking about the NATO summit and Trump going to it all day, and now we forgot about it. Like not all day, like but at least segment. Okay, so
I don't know who's pushing for this. I think it's stupid.
Oh, also, I remember seeing on the news that Trump said that the only reason he's going to NATO summit is because of Turkey. That's what he also said. But let me listen to yeah, let me play the rest of this. Ankara. Guys, I see the super chats. I'm going to read them soon. Let me
nation that's been very, very good, and I can speak for myself as president. They've been extraordinary in many ways with respect to our relationship, including trying to end the war with Iran, or whatever you call it. It's not even a war, it's a military operation. It's a denuclearization. That's really what it is of Iran, and they know.
I don't know what this is about. Anyways, let's see here. There's more of this. We got some super chats. Let me read them. Fleshy Interloper saying, it's the price of his Arab NATO. What does that mean?
The only Arab NATO I know is the peace accords, the Abraham Accords. Like having
there is no Arab NATO. I think Fleshy Interloper is just basically calling Turkey like an Arab version of NATO. Like I think maybe he's doing
an Arab member, maybe, but like the whole.
I mean, they're not Arab, but I think in behavior and culture, he means in they're Islamic. I don't know.
They're Islamic. Yes.
Yes, I'm just guessing, right? So yeah, sorry if I misinterpreted what you said, Fleshy. I hope. Yeah. Push-ups with a super chat saying, "Well, I'm Greek, so you know." Yeah. So, yes, I know. The Greeks are not friendly with Turkey at all. Especially over many things, including Cyprus. Yeah, free Cyprus from Turkey, by the way. The parts of Cyprus that has been invaded by Turkey. Hopefully, we could free it one day. And then we have Nacho. I don't know how to Nacho, or is this?
Yeah,
Hebrew?
Nacho Jimenez. This is Nacho Jimenez.
Nacho Jimenez.
Hola, Nacho Jimenez.
Okay. Saying getting closer to Turkey, Qatar, Saudi, all bad. Yep, I don't like that at all. I don't like that, especially. Yeah, I mean all of them. I don't like any of that. Completely agree with the super chat. And say it. Thank you for the super chat saying it is bad decision. I agree with you guys. Yep, same. Okay. People agree. I think most people here agree with this. Okay. And this is very interesting because a lot of people here are Trump supporters, and I keep getting told that Trump supporters are a cult, that they support everything he does and they don't question it. And it's interesting because nothing seems to be farther from the truth. I mean, maybe it's based on my experience, but at least the people here are not like that. Let me see what he says here about Turkey.
I can tell you, we're going to be taking the sanctions off. Okay? I don't want him to waste his time answering that question because we're working very closely with Marco Rubio, a very famous man, great Secretary of State, and with Scott Bessent and with Pete and everybody else. We're going to be taking the sanctions off. It's time to do that. Okay?
So I think this is the sanctions that they put on Turkey for buying S-400s, air defense from Russia. So at some point that they did that earlier. Guys, is this correct or not? Because I remember United States put sanctions on Turkey, not selling them military equipment once because they told Turkey, don't you do it, don't you dare go buy those S-400s, like don't go buy those S-400s from Russia. And then Turkey went and bought the S-400s from Russia. I'm like, okay. Oh yeah, so people are confirming that is correct. So Trump is now removing those sanctions that they had on Turkey.
Yes, but aren't they garbage?
Well,
wasn't one of the biggest problem that they were used in Venezuela, they were used in Syria, they were used in Iran, they were used, the IRGC used them, they were used. I think there's around 5 or 6 places that they didn't work.
So the Islamic Republic had S-300s, not S-400s. And they wanted to buy S-400s from Russia, and Russia wouldn't sell to them. They were like, no, these are
because people copy technology, which is why you shouldn't give them F-35s.
Right, exactly. But Russia, like the Islamic Republic, was begging Russia for S-400s, and Russia was like, "You get S-300s, you don't get S-400s, right?" So the S-300s ended up looking were useful, at all. Like it didn't do anything to protect the Islamic Republic, but so did Turkey buy S-400s or S-300s?
No, that wasn't used. He may be talking about in the IRGC. That wasn't. They wasn't. Yeah.
Let me see. Is the U.S. sanctioned on Turkey because of Turkey buying S-400s from Russia? I'll just ask AI for this. Okay.
Oh, meanwhile, I have some information here about the people that went with him. Like this guy that is Tom Barak, his role as ambassador, he was part of the 2016 inaugural committee. So that's why he's there. That's how he kind of like his organizational skills or whatever. He became the ambassador to Turkey, this Tom Barak. And this Matt Whitaker, he seems to have been the former attorney general from 2018 to 19. So I don't understand why he's there, because like that was some of the weakest attorney generaling that they did. He's supposed to be like in charge of arresting people. A lot of people didn't get arrested. Like that's my whole problem with Pam Bondi. She wouldn't put anybody in cuffs. At least the new guy is putting some people in cuffs. But I wouldn't give this guy a job based on his performance from 2018 to 98 to wait a minute. Let me see. Yeah, that it was his former acting U.S. Attorney General. Like I don't like their performance. I don't know why these people are in charge of stuff. Dan Kane is pretty good, but I don't think he's gonna be happy. Marco Rubio looked miserable. Did you see his face? He looked miserable. He looked so like he didn't want to be there. He doesn't want any part of this. Like at some point you can see his face and he looks just pissed. He's like,
what are we doing here? So here's the thing. I checked everything. So let me see. S300. So this is what AI is saying. So we were right. The U.S. imposed sanctions on Turkey's Defense Procurement Agency in 2020, so 6 years ago, over the S-400 purchase, though President Trump announced basically today that his administration is moving to lift them so that they could buy the F-35s now. The Islamic Republic received S-300 systems from Russia in 2016. But they haven't purchased S-400, so we were correct about that as well. Look at this. We knew what we were talking about. And I asked AI if the S-400s are crap. It says, nope, they are highly capable and versatile systems, but real-world combat in Ukraine has proven that they are far from invincible, and they have struggled against saturation drone swarms and Western ballistic missiles like ATACMS. So then I asked about the S-300s. They said the S-300s are an older generation, highly capable defense system. I don't know about that, but is less effective than the S-400s and has frequently been overwhelmed or destroyed by modern Western missiles and drones in Ukraine. So the S-400s are like a lot better than the S-400s are a lot better than the S-300s, like a lot better. Not invincible, but a lot better. Anyways, let's play.
I mean, Ukraine is doing good things. Ukraine is doing great things.
Yeah. So let's. The S-300s proved to be useless against the Israelis, by the way. But let me watch this. Let's watch the rest of this.
We don't want to sanction friends. It's very simple. There's plenty of people we can sanction, and we are sanctioned. We don't want to sanction friends. And because of the president, we have a very good relationship with the new leader of Syria, and he's done an amazing job. In a year and a half, he's pulled the whole country together. And I have a very great relationship with him. And somebody said, well, he's pretty rough to put him there. I approved him along with the president. We were the two that really wanted him. And he's done a great job. He's done a great job. He's pulled it together. Not an easy job.
Okay. So, yeah,
are we sure that they're getting these jets, or is this just about the lifting of the sanctions? It looks like a sure thing, or is it something being talked about? Is anything signed? Is there money being traded? Like, how sure are we that these jets are definitely going to Turkey? Because I want to know that part, because I'm not sure about this. Like, I'm reading over here that the biggest problem is that the F-35s rely on secure data links with the other NATO aircraft system, mixing them with Russian hardware creates vulnerabilities that could be exploited, which is what I was talking about. You can't open these up to the Russians.
Yeah, so we're going to get more comments that is going to tell us whether we're going to get F-35s or not. I have more videos. So let me, guys, I see your super chats. I'm going to get to those very soon. Let me see. Is this about the F-30? Yep, there you go. Monkey, you asked, and the next video was exactly about the F-35. So let's see what they're saying here. I haven't watched these videos, by the way. It was accidental.
Mr. President, are you going to sell F-35s to Turkey, and what about the legal restrictions?
It's a decision we're going to make. We have a very good relationship. I would think that many people, I can tell you, many people, including the people sitting right here, thinks, why wouldn't we do that? We have a better relationship with Turkey, and Turkey's been in many ways much more loyal than other countries that we think would be loyal. So, yeah, something certainly we would consider. It's a great plane. It's the best, currently the best plane by far. And it's certainly something we will consider, yeah.
Mr. President.
What the hell is he talking about? More loyal than what? Than UK because they didn't give you a base? Did Turkey open up a base for you? I don't know what he's talking about.
They do have a base there.
But did they open it up? Was it part of the strikes on Iran? Was Turkey in on that?
Oh, that's a good question. Did the U.S. Base in Turkey, was it used in Operation Epic Fury? Give me a one-line answer. Probably not, actually, now that I think about it. But let me see. Was not used to launch offensive strikes. So
Then what the
yes,
hell
there
is he
was a
talking about?
Hmm.
This is ridiculous. I don't understand this. This doesn't make sense. A lot of people in the room here think I should do it. Who cares what those people think? They didn't. Oh, so they did not give you a base, just like UK, just like Italy, just like France. So they did the same as everybody else. What do you mean? They've been more loyal. How have they been more loyal? What is he talking about? I don't understand what he's talking about. I do not understand what he's talking about. Did they give them information, strike data? Did they are they the ones that snitched out where Khamenei was? I don't is there some, is it secret? Like, could it be secret? I don't know. But like trying to tell me that these people were more loyal than others, who, how are they more loyal than others? So like I take that as an implication that they were more loyal than Europe, like they were like the most loyal in NATO or something, right? How were they more loyal? I don't understand this. And I think they're like, maybe they're basing on, oh, this is a NATO ally, we can give NATO allies F-35s. But like, you got to understand who's in power and who these people in power are playing with. And these people like to play footsie with Russia. And what that expression means, they have too close a relationship with Russia.
You know, you're asking some very good questions, and while you're asking them, I'm checking answers for you. These are really good questions. Okay, so Turkey. I asked why didn't the U.S. base in Turkey wasn't used in Operation Epic Fury against Islamic Republic? So the answer is Turkey maintained a strict diplomatic stance against offensive actions being launched from its soil to prevent regional escalation and protect its own relations with Iran. So basically, very close to Europe. And then I asked her, okay, so why Trump is saying that they were more loyal? And the answer is Trump is praising Turkey's loyalty at the Ankara NATO summit to contrast them with Western European allies whom he accused of not being there for us during the recent conflict with Iran. Okay, but then I said, okay, but how were they more loyal? I said, then the answer is Trump views Turkey as more loyal because unlike Western European allies who refused to participate in his recent war against Iran, he shares a strong personal chemistry with Erdogan and appreciates Turkey's willingness to host the NATO summit. What
does that mean? He kissed his ass? I don't know what that means. Oh, well, this guy kisses my ass. You guys don't kiss my ass. Look at the loyalty. Look, I'm pulling my pants down. Look at his lips right on my ass. Why can't you guys kiss my ass like this? He didn't open a base. He didn't provide any material support to my effort. He actually took a stance that he was against it, just like you guys. But look at this. Look, I'm pulling my pants down. Erdogan is kissing my ass. I don't think that's a good enough basis to give someone an F-35. I don't. Like, you know what? There's a lot of people that will kiss ass for an F-35. That's a strong weapons platform.
Mm-hmm. Look at this. We actually got an interesting comment. Let me actually respond to the comments in the super chats before we go to the next video about Turkey and Trump. Push-up saying the Turks mass slaughter dogs. That's pretty evil. So I looked that up, by the way. Look at this. So yeah, animal rights groups have documented widespread illegal mass. What is this? I don't know this word. Calling and poisonings of dogs following Turkey's 2024 stray dog law. So
look, I don't even want to know what they do to monkeys. I understand that is pretty evil, and I appreciate the super chat. I'm worried about this. Like, give me someone in the chat. Explain to me, what am I wrong about? What's going on here that I'm not seeing? Right? The F-35 is an extremely advanced weapons platform. It has extremely advanced technologies, not only in just the shape of it, right? You don't want people close to even measuring, even looking at the materials of the paint. You don't even want these people to touch the paint on it and get samples of it. You don't want these people to know how the engine works. You don't want them even looking at the engine, looking at the cockpit. A lot of this stuff has been classified for a very long time. Why would you give them this? Right? I see some people in the chat like, no, I'm being ignorant. Don't just make don't ad hominem me. Tell me what I'm wrong about. Tell me what is there to be so good about Turkey that we would give them this technology. I don't see it. I don't see it.
So let me correct something. But push-ups, I don't think we should say Turks because I don't want to generalize all Turkish people. I mean, there are a lot of dog rights activists in Turkey that are trying to fight against that. I think we should say the Turkish government law. We should criticize the Turkish government, not like generally the Turks. But thank you for bringing that to my attention. Also, I want to say I'm really proud of Monkey because Monkey, he's a very big Trump supporter, and he knows that saying criticizing Trump publicly like this is going to get a lot of Trump supporters, like some of them accusing him of having TDS. But look at his principles. Like I makes him that if he thinks something is wrong, he's not going to hold back. And you're still a Trump supporter, right? Like you're a Trump supporter, but if you think something is wrong, you're not going to hold back. And I just want to say, this is something I really had. I know we have our disagreements, Monkey, but this is something I really admire you about. Like, I'm really proud of you that you're like this.
Look, we all have parents. We all have parents. We all have family. We love our family. But if our family member is about to be scammed, we're going to go, what the hell are you doing? No. There is no Nigerian prince. You don't need to just send this money so they'll be able to, recover their kingdom and send you bars of gold. This is a scam, right? You love your parents. If they're falling for a scam, you tell them, hey, hold on. Back up. Let me talk to you about what's really going on here, right? So I'm not saying that Trump is my dad. We all know like Big Daddy Trump is like a thing, but you would warn a person if you love him. If I love this guy, am I just going to shut up and let him make a mistake, or am I going to sound an alarm bell? Hey, I'm worried about this. What's going on? Explain this. What are we doing here, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm sounding an alarm bell, not because I hate the guy, because I think he's stupid, because I think he's human. This is God. This is a human, and humans make mistakes. Humans are fallible. So if there is something going on that I don't know, fine. But there is no way to logically explain this to me in a way that makes sense, because I know about this military hardware. The thing I know about this tank behind me right here, I can't tell you. I can't tell you anything about it. I can tell you about the stuff that's already public. But even this old technology, there's stuff in here about the sight systems and all that kind of stuff that I can't tell you. All right, even though it's stuff that I haven't gotten even into in a long time, like if we're going to be like purely technical, I can't talk to you about it. And this is old. The F-35 is a very new system with very new targeting systems, very new. Like even the paint on these things are classified. Like even if we're getting a new jet, like this thing is leagues above other jets. Like this leaves the Chinese J, I forget what it was, and the SUs in the dust, right? This is still, you don't want to give, just because you have a new jet coming doesn't mean you want to give them an edge. We do have an F-47 coming. Like we do have new stuff coming down the pipe. That doesn't what do we gain from this? This doesn't make any sense to me. No sense at all. I wouldn't even give it to, I think it was UAE was going to get a couple. I wouldn't even give it to them. I would not even give it to them. I wouldn't give nobody, J-17 is it? I would give F-35s to no one except maybe Japan and Israel. No one else. I can't think of any other partner. I wouldn't, you know what? I'm somewhat doubtful of UK. There's a lot of NATO members that I'm like, I don't know if I want to give it to you. Like you don't have as much personal interest, it seems. You don't, your head isn't in the game. Japan's head is in the game. Israel's head is in the game. I don't know where the hell NATO's head is.
I like your list Japan and Israel. That makes a lot of sense. Good choice. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at this part. This is President Trump talking about al-Shara, the terrorist, or other people know as al-Jawani. What do you think he's going to say?
I think he's gonna say he's handsome. He's a great guy. He's a very strong man. He's a very. This is what he does. This is what he does. He's gonna say. Oh my God! I wouldn't put $100 on it, but I bet 20. He's gonna say he's handsome.
He's handsome. Okay, let's see. Oh, and then we're gonna go to super chats. Sorry, I forgot to finish. I will do this after we watch this video.
And because of the president, we have a very good relationship with the new leader of Syria, and he's done an amazing job. In a year and a half, he's pulled the whole country together. And I have a very great relationship with him. And somebody said, well, he's pretty rough to put him there. I approved him along with the president. We were the two that really wanted him. And he's done a great job. He's done a great job. He's pulled it together. Not friends.
Okay, so not handsome, but a lot of praise.
Now we haven't seen the full. I mean, he might have gotten into it. We got to see the full. Like he would have put it in there somewhere. I mean, I have seen him say it so many times. It's embarrassing. You know when Grandpa said, "Look at my boy. He's such a handsome boy." You know how grandpas be like that. And you're like, "Oh my God, stop it, Grandpa." Well, he does that kind of shit with a guy that you should not see as your grandson.
A lot of this seems to me that President Trump has a plan for the, that whole region, and he's trying to not just rely on Israel. And it might be that he thinks that because United States, whatever it wants to do in Israel, in the Middle East, they have to, there's nobody else other than Israel to talk to. I think United States is trying to find some alternatives to Israel, and Turkey. Turkey is basically backing Jolani or al-Shara, and I think President Trump's administration is looking at the Middle East to see, well, who here has military, right? Because Saudi Arabia doesn't have military, like serious military, like a ground force or anything like that. Saudi Arabia doesn't. UAE doesn't, Qatar doesn't, Bahrain doesn't, Kuwait doesn't. The only three countries in the Middle East that have, a big actual militaries that are not the enemies of officially enemies of the United States are Israel, Turkey, and Egypt. So the only other state that has a military actual military is the Islamic Republic, like a ground force, right? So am I missing anybody, guys, other than Israel, Turkey, and Egypt? Do we have anybody else here that has like a ground force or serious military?
Like a couple of 100,000?
Yeah, like actually a force that you could go and take land with and do stuff with, like Kuwait, like Saudi Arabia.
What do you think about it? Would you want them coming in? I don't want them coming in to Iran. Hell no. On the ground, I don't trust them.
No,
they'd rape and kill everybody.
Saudi Arabia has nothing. Saudi Arabia has just like it's not like a standing army. They don't have it. They have like some really expensive American toys that they don't know how to use. But no, Saudi Arabia doesn't have anything.
Aren't they like asking Pakistan for ground forces or some shit?
The Pakistan is not in the Middle East. Like the Middle East.
No, but they have a deal though with Saudis, right?
Oh yes, that's why they have a deal with Saudi, because they don't have anything significant themselves, right? So that's why we're looking at only these three countries: Turkey, Egypt, and Israel. So if United States is like, Israel has a monopoly in this region, and that's why we're too reliant on them, maybe United States is trying to look at the alternatives. And they're looking at Turkey as a NATO member, right? So they're like, okay, that's the best alternative to Israel if we want to diversify the states that we rely on for military operations. And that's why they're also supporting Jolani, because Jolani is an extension of Turkey's military right now. What do you think?
I've been fighting diversification for 10 years. I hate diversification. Diversification sucks. It doesn't make anything better. It's
what do you think?
Like, why would I don't trust these people. I don't trust them. I don't care if they're in NATO. I don't care. I don't care what they're in. I don't trust them. Like I don't care how many ground forces. Their ground forces don't make me feel better. They make me feel worse. I wouldn't trust them in Iran. I wouldn't trust them to go anywhere and not do the same kind of shit that Jolani used to do. Like right now, we're having the problem in Syria where there's persecution of Christians, there's persecutions of people that aren't the same religion as Jolani. We have right now, I'm watching the videos, and you know what? Hey, it could be an old video, it could be like one incident, but things doesn't seem to be going well in Syria. There isn't this, there's no secularism. It does seem to be becoming another Islamic state. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not trusting anything that's happening in Syria and Turkey. It gives me no reason to trust these people. I don't care if they're in NATO. I don't care if they have a ground force. Those things don't make me feel better. They make me feel worse. NATO sucks. They're in NATO. They're in shitty company.
Okay, but so yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what you said, but but putting the judgment aside on whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, right? Because what I'm saying is descriptive, it's not normative, right? I'm just describing what's happening. So regardless of it being a bad decision or a good decision, I just gave you a theory of what I think might be happening. Do you think that, what do you think about my theory of
is that the story they're selling Trump?
No, yes. I'm just saying that this is the reasoning behind the scenes, in my opinion. And I'm just wondering if you think that's also probably what's happening.
It could be some of the motivations, but I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it as enough. I don't buy it as logical enough. I don't buy it like to give them. We have to understand what the end goal is here. Giving Turkey F-35s. That's the end goal here. Like, okay, there's reasoning. We want to raise this up, raise that up, give these people up, have a little more diversity, blah, blah, blah. But what are you doing? What are you literally doing? Giving Turkey F-35s. There's nothing in everything that was said there that tells me I should give people that kind of power. And everything you said makes me less likely to give them. I want to take F-35s away from NATO. I don't want to give them more. I want to step back from NATO. And I think you're being completely reasonable. I'm just having a hard time with it. The only way this works for me if he's full of shit. If he's full of shit, they're just lying. If they're just lying, I'm okay. Let lie to them motherfuckers. I don't care. But giving it to them, no.
We'll see what happens if they actually give it to them or not. Flesh Interloper with a super chat saying Ukraine killing S-400s all over Russia and occupied territory. Yes, those S-400s did not last against Ukraine. So, but what would be the yeah, that's good. I think Israel, if there's ever a war between Turkey and Israel, I don't think these S-400s will save them. But a lot of people are like, oh, okay, well then let them have them. Let them have it. Let them have F-35s. The thing is that it's not about who wins. It's about at what cost, right? It's about at what cost. Like, so you're like, oh, Turkey having S-3500s, they're still going to lose. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure more Israelis will die if they have F-35s, if there's ever a war between Israel and Turkey, if they have that. So
that's not even my cost calculus. It's the technology given to Russia or any other people playing footsie with Turkey. That's my cost calculus.
Yeah. You know, if the Islamic Republic falls, when the Islamic Republic falls, then the main problem in this region, I mean, in the Middle East, because I think the main problem then is Pakistan, but in this region is going to be Turkey. And we might eventually see a conflict, military conflict between Israel and Turkey. And then if we give F-35s to Turkey, we have given Turkey tools to attack Israel if that war ever comes.
I'd like to check on something here. Texas troopers selling F-35s have to have congressional approval. It won't pass. Maybe. I'm not absolutely sure on this, but Texas has, usually right about these things. I'd have to check on that, but it doesn't make sense to me that we would just give these things. No way. He could be bullshitting and tell them, oh, well, I tried, guys, but Congress.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned at the very beginning, that we are going to judge it. I asked it at the beginning, like, would Congress even pass this?
Texas says she looked it up, so I don't think they would pass this. I don't think.
Unless we have so many anti-Israelis taking over the Congress in the midterms that they want to basically do this as an anti-Israeli move, right?
Okay,
so let me read this.
Is this like midterm politics and getting close to Turkey will rile up the Israeli support into the voting blocks? I
don't
hope
know.
so.
We'll see. I think we shouldn't. Here's what I learned. I think we shouldn't predict the future. We should with certainty. We can predict the future, but we shouldn't say like Congress won't do this. President Trump will do this. President Trump won't do that. This will happen. This won't happen. We said we should like talk in more ifs. If this happened, then this. If that happens, then that. I think we should mostly talk about uncertainties about stuff that has already happened. When it comes to things that haven't happened, I think we should talk with a bit more uncertain, with more skeptical.
I'm definitely iffy on that.
Right. Okay. Let me read this. So while President Trump has announced his intent to lift sanctions and sell F-35s to Turkey, Congress is expected to resist approval until Ankara legally relinquishes its Russian S-400 missile system as mandated by federal law. So bipartisan skepticism regarding intelligence security combined with intense pressure from Israel to protect its qualitative military edge will likely trigger a major legislative battle over the deal. So this is going to be difficult. Also, by the way, Monkey, something regarding the S-400s and S-300s, all of this happened before, Turkey buying the S-400s, before some of this Russian defense equipment were shown to be as bad as they are, right? So I do think that Turkey is now more motivated to lean again more towards the United States, given how useless Russian military equipment ended up being.
Look, I just why didn't you know that already? They suck at this stuff. They've been sucking at this stuff for like 30 years. Like every military their system they ever make does not compare to the US. It's been this way for a long time. Name a system, I'll show you one of ours that's 3 times better and has been for a long time. Like this is just an example of them being stupid. Like, right? Oh, it's cheap. So what does it matter if it's cheap if it doesn't work? Right? Like this doesn't tell me that they're intelligent people. That doesn't tell me that they're intelligent in making their associations. If they're worried about the national defense, they wouldn't be buying Chinese or Russian stuff. Like it's none of the information I get makes me support this decision in any way. Like I'm very iffy. I'm with you. This is very iffy territory.
Okay, let me go to the super chats. Then we got Sayed with a super chat saying jihadists are not going to be good friends. That's 100% I agree with that. Yes, bingo. There you go. Push-ups with a super chat saying Greece let US use its bases in
That's
preparation
hilarious. Hilarious.
For Operation Epic Fury. What is that?
Greece hates Turkey. They've been hating each other for a very long time. This is like a slap in the face of Greece.
What is that word there? In
Crete?
I don't know. In Crete. Okay, for Epic Fury. So yeah, this is also a betrayal to Greece though, right? Because Greece was loyal, more loyal to United States than Turkey. And instead of rewarding Greece, we're now rewarding the enemies of Greece, which is Turkey, and calling them more loyal than other NATO members. Greece is a NATO member. They allowed you to use their bases for Operation Epic Fury, and Turkey didn't. So relatively, Greece is more loyal to the United States than Turkey, and now the United States is rewarding Greece's enemy.
Look, gun to my head, I have to pick between Greece and Turkey. I'm giving those F-35s to Greece, not Turkey. Like, I don't want to give them to anybody, but
Okay, but you're biased. You're the Greece monkey.
Okay, different Greece, Different Greece. I haven't been there.
But you
I
have
would
to
like to go.
acknowledge your bias here, right? Like be transparent.
A little bit.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, let's thank you, Bishops, for that information. That's a good.
I do like gyros.
Yeah. Push-ups. Thank you for the super chat saying Trump goes through seasonal retardation. Oh my
It
god,
happens.
that's so
It
hard.
happens.
That's harsh. Okay, Jesus. Then we got another super chat by George saying Turkey financed over $2 billion of the cost of development of the F-35 program as a level 3 partner. What?
Oh no, and we appreciate that drop in the bucket. That's about as much as the Minnesota Leering Center's worth, of money. Wow, thank you for those 2 cents. So much money. No, I don't care. I don't mean to besmirch your super chats. I appreciate the information, right, George Hansen? We appreciate you, and we do see that this might have played into it, but it's not enough money in America. $2 billion in a military budget is basically nothing. It's not even a lot. And when you look at American fraud, like if you how much was like $100 billion has been in Minnesota in the last 4 years, something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it is a lot. It is billions upon billions. So I can't really look at $2 billion as a lot.
So let me give you context. Turkey was a level 3 development partner and ultimately invested around $1.4 billion directly into the F-35 program before its suspension. And then I asked what percentage of the total cost was that? So Turkey's $1.4 billion investment accounted for roughly 3.5% of the program's estimated $40 billion total system development and demonstration phase costs. Oh, okay, there we go.
Not a lot,
but it's good to know. But I'm glad that I know that. That's actually interesting. Thank you, George.
Appreciate you, George.
Yeah. Shauna with the super chat saying, how pie in the sky naive do you think Trump is taking in the evaluation? I can see something like strategy going on, but these nations will destroy themselves if it means destroying Israel.
I think he's just talking shit. I think he knows he's not going to be able to get this through Congress, so it's not a real deal.
Okay, so maybe he's just saying something that is impossible. We'll see. I mean,
look, if the reality is, and by what I'm hearing from Texas, that is the reality. Like, I'm not looking it up right now. If I look it up, it's probably I'm going to get the same result, right? But like, if it seems like an impossible deal, it's like you're selling them pie in the sky, right? They're not going to get it. So what's the harm in making this? It's a lot of headlines. The headlines make it look like there's a big deal. The headline make it look like Turkey is a big deal. Right? This is very much a show for Turkey. Turkey so strong, Turkey so good, Turkey so magnificent. But if he knows he's not going to get this through Congress, then it's basically they're just talking shit. It's not going to happen.
Okay. Thank you. And then we have George with another super chat saying the F-35 program was a NATO development program and all NATO members have access to it. So I just checked this as well. So guys, look at this. I'm checking all the information for you guys. Wait, hold on. So yes, no, this is not true actually. F-35 is a US-led multinational program rather than an official NATO initiative, and access is strictly restricted to approved purchasing nations, excluding several NATO members. So that one is not true.
Like, not even all of them have them. Some of them are like automatically excluded.
Yes. And I think Turkey should be excluded for sure, especially given their closer relationship with Russia. And then we get another super chat from Justin saying F-35s are national security. Yes, it needs congressional approval. Yep. Hopefully they won't approve it. Thank you so much, Justin. Justin with another super chat saying unless national security components are not included, Trump would not need congressional approval then. I think they are included.
The body is the component that's most needed. Like the airframe design and the paint on it is what's most needed. So like a big part of what makes the plane stealth is the physical body. How are you going to give them the plane without a body?
I mean, if without all of those things, it wouldn't even be an F-35 anymore. As long it would be just like, yeah. But I think it is, if it, as long as it's still an F-35, it's a national security thing. Yeah, for sure. And then Steak and Beans, thank you so much for the super chat, saying maybe this move with the F-35s is blackmailing Israel, like saying you better behave or else we can destroy your military superiority. Also, don't take too much credit for Iran. It's all our power. I think it's trying to, it might be the strategy is to have more leverage over Israel by not just relying on Israel, just basically showing to Israel that we have other options in the Middle East. And
Israel knows they're not getting it through Congress. Like, they know. They're like, this isn't going through Congress. Like, Israel would know that. Like, if anybody would know that, it's Israel.
Never say never. I mean, it is likely that it's not going to go through Congress, but there are deals you could make with Congress. Like, if they really want to push for this, they could give, Congress members things that they couldn't get, but they really, really want to, push for stuff happening.
Look, my iffiness on that, I'm iffy. My iffiness is like off the EFO meter. Like, I think they would know.
Yeah. Okay, and Shana with the super chat saying, Greases. How do you say this? Greasy Americans. How about that? How do you
Grease Monkeys American Lobby. I'm kidding. Greece's American Lobby has lost power.
Greece's American lobby has lost power as they have become more integrated. Same as with AIPAC, despite the screaming. Okay, so apparently to fight against Turkey's influence in the United States, we need to support Greece's lobby in Washington D.C. The greasy lobby supported.
Grease
Make
pack,
it more greasy.
or gyro pack. I don't know what you call it.
Lube that lobby. Lube the lobby. Lube that
Yes.
No. Well, I can't lube that. Lube that greasy lobby. All right. Yes. So who knew? Like to fight jihadis, we need to support Greece. Apparently. And thank you, Shana. That's important information. Thank you. And George with another super chat saying Trump is giving Turkey something they already have, access to the F-35s. They don't have access to F-35s. I don't know where you're getting that from.
Yeah, no, they don't. They literally don't.
I could keep checking these for you guys, like live fact checking. Oh,
They can maybe call us for a strike from us. Like, we could, like, you want us to pass by with our F-35s? Yes. But them controlling and fielding F-35s, I seriously doubt that.
yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, that was the whole point of the sanction.
And that's the whole point of this meeting.
Yeah, the whole point of the sanction is for them. Turkey was booted from the program in 2019 and does not possess or have access to F-35. As 6 of its paid for jets remained locked in U.S. storage. There you go. So no, they didn't have access to it.
And we could just give them the money back or give them a credit on other stuff. He's like, okay, we can't give you that, but would you like a Patriot missile?
Well,
2 for 1.
Here's what Bibi thinks about all of this.
The other thing I'd like to say, because we're on the verge of the president's going to Turkey, look, Turkey is a great country, but it's governed by a man who calls openly for the annihilation of Israel. He occupies half of Cyprus, a NATO country. He's threatening Greece, another NATO country, and he talks openly about conquering Jerusalem. His foreign minister, his number 2, said that the Jewish state hasn't a place among humanity. Basically, it has to be wiped out. His interior minister, said he looks forward to be the governor of Jerusalem. Well, for a regime infected by the Muslim Brotherhood, an extreme movement that hates America and chants death to America from that side of the spectrum, I don't think they should be given F-35s or the engines for their fighter jets, because that'll upset the power balance in the Middle East, which is ultimately guaranteed by Israeli air superiority and also by, I think, by America's posture in the Middle East.
Yeah, I thoroughly agree. Plus, they
Yeah, what do you think?
I think he's absolutely right.
Yeah. Okay, so let me see. We got another super chat. That was a good summary of everything that is wrong with this. Justin, give us a super chat saying, I may be mistaken, but I believe the F-35 airframe is not classified. Paint, yes. Engine, yes, etc.
It's okay. So here's the thing. When they say that, they say you can take a picture of it. Right, you can take a picture of it, you can see the shape from the outside. That doesn't mean that you can have measurements of how the engine, how big the intakes are, what the dimensions of how they go in there, how they move. There is a lot of classified technology that comes with possession. Like them having them gives them access to the paint. The paint is highly classified. The exact radar cross section is classified. Details on the composition. They're not supposed to know what the metals are. Internal structural details. These are things that if they can open any of these compartments, they can see. And everything in an compartment that you can open is classified. So when they talk about, no, the airframe isn't classified, they mean that this isn't a black project that you're not supposed to see and it flies out of area, 51 at night and they'll never admit it. It's already out there. That's what they mean. You can take a picture out of it. You can make a model out of it and have it in your office. It's not classified in that way, but if you're having access to the components, no, you can't. That's classified. Everything in there is classified.
So part of it is true, but let me give context, right? So you're right. The physical geometric shape and the structure design of the F-35 airframe itself are unclassified and widely visible, whereas the specific composition of its radar absorbent paint, stealth coating, internal engine technology, electronic warfare system, and software source code remain highly classified. So then I ask, will the sale of the F-35 to Turkey be giving away any unclassified information? So yeah, approving the sale will give Turkey access to restricted operational information, but it is heavily controlled. While they would gain access to data required to pilot and maintain required to pilot and maintain the jets, the U.S. strictly limits what F-35 buyers can see. Turkey would not get access to highly classified source code of the software, the chemical formulas of the stealth coating, or radar cross-section design data. Furthermore, export versions are heavily locked down, and the U.S. can even constrain or degrade access to localized mission data files and threat libraries. Threat libraries to protect as core secrets. By the way, guys, I'm going to be on I-24 in about a few minutes, so I need to fix these, get to these really fast. So Bar Mustal is saying, don't give advanced weapons to religious maniacs. 100% agree with that. And then also BT June, thank you so much for the new user profile picture with the dog as president. Thank you, BT June. Saying, oh my God, I'm almost at 1 year being a demon. 10 months. Yeah, so BT June, a 10-month membership. Yeah, 2 more months and you're a 1 year member. Thank you for being a member. Okay, so really need to go. Because guys, I'm going to be on I-24 and I also need to talk to Monkey for about 5 minutes before I go. So guys, Israelis, everyone actually watch me on I-24. I'm being invited to the news a lot more often. So just need to finish early today. Don't forget our discussion group today. We have a group called today. And don't forget Monkey's channel. Motorpool.
I'm 2 away from 450.
Ooh, 2 away, 2 subscribers. So Motorpool Grease Monkey, make sure you check that out. I'll share the link next time in the Ali live. I really need to go right now. But just search for Motorpool Grease Monkey for Monkey's channel. And cutting it short today because I need to be on the news. And love you guys. Thank you so much for everything. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification and leave comments and like and share the channel and all of that. And Am Israel Chai, Slava Ukraine, Cuba Libre, Long Live America, Javid Shah, Payande Iran. Mwah. See you guys soon.